Yo, what is up, guys? We are back with another live stream. However, this will not be the usual live stream. This will actually be a stream that's going to go straight to YouTube after we finish up. But what this is going to be is basics on Trove, because no, I don't play Trove enough to probably be doing a tutorial on it or anything like that, or a guide. However, I do want to clear up some misconceptions that a lot of players have, and just overall, to get some basic stuff out of the way. Now, for the record being, I am a fishing connoisseur. Not really. This only took like a couple of hours to get. Anyway, though, those are my trophies. Battle trophies. I don't really do PvP too much. Here's my nice house. Ooh, a stranger. And, you know, then we got the nice quiet basement. My favorite. I keep a hole down here just because I don't want to be that guy who, like, traps people down here if they come in. However, this is where I genuinely, like, just use this to get rid of people. You know, it's nice to have something to do that with. So, here are going to be the basics, though, for just, if you're planning on playing Trove, but you don't really know, just, I guess, side stuff, really, is what we should be doing this for. I don't know what you'd want to put it in. First things first, though, I'm gonna be going over the classes in Trove. Now, for the record being, I main Shadowhunter. If I've got a class that's above level 20, that means at some point its power rank has been 15k or 16k, and I just kind of took all gems off of it, because whenever I stop playing Trove, I normally completely dismantle everything I own for no actual reason. I'll sell all my gear and get a mount or something, and then that's what I'll just restart with whenever I get back up on Trove. So, yeah, that's what I normally do. Now, that being said, though, so what we're going to be talking about is, first off, what the good classes are and what the not good classes are, because, Jesus Christ, there are some not good classes. So, basically, as far as this goes, the bad classes, if you really want to go that route, let's just pull up our nice little class select page, because this is just going to be the basics. It's going to be like dead, just kind of boring stuff. Okay, so for starters, if you want to know the decent classes, we got Shadowhunter, Gunslinger, Neon Ninja, hold up, gotta make sure I get them all. Trickster's good. Ice Age is good. Yeah, that's about it. If you want to know what a good class is, there's your good classes. I will actually probably at some point do a stream where I'll go over why some classes are just ridiculously better than others. But just gonna say this now, if you're not playing as one of those classes, you're not playing as one of the good classes. And there are things putting you at a disadvantage. For example, if you're playing as Knight or Candy Barbarian, you're playing as a tank. Anyone who's played Trove to either Ultra or Hard Shadow Tower points, which means... I want to say like that means 13k if you actually do DPS builds, and then it's like 17k PR if you don't, which, let's just say it's a while into the game. Oh, the Revenant's trash. Sorry, man. Like, the Revenant's not trash, it's... I think the best way to put this is, the Revenant is a tank. Don't play a tank in Trove is the main logic here. The reason's because late game Trove, all that matters is DPS. A lot of late game players don't even know that, which is kind of sad, but anyone who speedruns the Shadow Towers can tell you this. A Gunslinger, by the way, you only want one of each class in your Shadow Tower party if you're doing speedruns, but late game, all that's really good is Neon Ninja's good for its shurikan, but that's it. I don't know a really good way to rank this. I guess, though, basically Ice Age currently does the highest base damage you can get, which is kind of broken. Shadowhunter has the best DPS. Trickster used to have the highest single-shot damage, but it doesn't anymore because the Ice Age got an update. Neon Ninja, obviously, shurikens. Gunslinger is AoE damage. It actually does less damage than any of the characters I just listed. And, yeah... That about summarizes the good classes. If you play Revenant, it's not a bad class necessarily. It's just the fact, like, Okay, Revenant used to be really kind of broken good in beta. A little bit after beta, it was good too. I don't know exactly when it got nerfed. I don't remember if it was around the Shadow Tower update or not, like the Eclipse update. But basically, what it used to do was when you died, you basically had a completely second life with completely broken boosted stats. And instead, they made that to you die, your health slowly regens, and you get a buddy that does kind of shit damage. Like, it's just kind of like, eh, I play Neon Ninja and Revenant. Okay, well, see, Neon Ninja's good. That is good for you. See, Neon Ninja is decent. The thing with Neon Ninja, though, if you plan on doing late game, just remember DPS is all that matters, and if you're trying to do stuff late game, you're gonna want the Death-Defying Vial. I actually don't have it on this account. I think I have it on PC. Not positive on that one. I'm playing on Xbox right now, by the way, but yeah, basically, though, the reason you want Death-Defying is because if you're doing a DPS build, you will die without it. But a full DPS build makes Trove ridiculously easier. A good example of this is most people don't think you can solo an Ultra Shadow Tower all the way through. Well, that's not true. Like, flat out, if you want to know how to, almost any character, if you make a, like, complete DPS build where your stats are just to crit hit up to close to 100 or at 100, and then crit damage and physical damage for all of your stats on your gear and gems, well, at about, I think Shadowhunter can actually manage an ult Dreadnought at about 22 or 23 power rank as long as you have Death Defying. Ice Age definitely can. And, I mean, the tanks can't, which is kind of sad. Tank classes are kind of really left out in Ultra Shadow Towers unless you need somebody to distract the boss, but in that case, Pirate Captain. I mean, seriously. But, overall, though, like, literally tank classes are worthless. DPS, though, is kind of just the way to go with that. I think for an old Shadow Tower, though, if you're not going full DPS build, you can still solo at, like, 25,000 PR, but if you do a full DPS build, for all the DPS characters, it's about 22 or 21. Actually, no, 22 or 23. The first two floors are about, like, I've got one friend who can do the first two floors at, I think, like, 16 or 17. So I know that that's doable in ult if you're doing pure DPS. But overall, though, you just need decent DPS for that. So that gets the basics of that out of the way. Now, we're going to be doing a couple of different basic things for Trove, though. Like, for example, why not to fish? If anyone's wondering about why the fuck you don't fish, well, take this from somebody who's put hours into fishing. By the way, I've done the math. If you're going to get all 15,000 fish for the badge for it, it's gonna take you about 181 hours. So, yeah. Fun fact of the day, I'm actually like a third of the way there. Anyway, so, we'll pretend I didn't say that out loud and be depressed. So basically, the reason you don't want to fish is it's not productive, it doesn't get you anything unless you do specific things. Like, for example, if you're doing fishing for farming for mastery, that's good. If you're just wanting to get all the fish, that's good. If you're getting trophies, it's kind of iffy if it's good or not. If you find somebody buy your trophies, I actually know a few people who will buy trophies on the console version at least. It's like 300 to 500 a trophy, unless they're buying in bulk, which means, I think if I remember it, that's like 100. If they're buying 100 at a time, then it's like 200 or 100 each. Which, I mean, still it's 100 trophies for 100 flux. I mean, if you're doing the math there, that's like 10k. I mean, it's a long time to get. But, I mean, hey, that's 10k you wouldn't get for fishing originally. But, so yeah, that's fishing out of the way. I just do it because I'm kind of bored. Like, eh. So here's some fun things that you can do in Trove that not a lot of people know. For instance, golden chaos chests. Those are farmable, and you can get them without Radiant Sovereigns. Do you want to know how? Go into a Shadow Tower on normal, or hard, or ult. Actually, I don't know if they affect the drop chances, but out of me doing 48, I think it was like 48 Dreadnought Shadow Towers in a row, and then I kept doing them, and I think at like 59 or something like that, I got a second one. But basically, it's just a ridiculously rare drop from the bosses in Shadow Towers. So, yeah, fun fact. Another thing, If you're looking for enemy trophies, run Shadow Towers. The whole reason that there's like, doing 300 Dreadnought runs is a collectible thing, same with the Shadow Hadraken. I think that's because a lot of people don't know what you can get out of Shadow Towers, and that's kind of the reason the devs put that in, is what I'm assuming, because the rewards are kind of good. It's not good if you're just doing your runs for your Titan Souls or Lunar Souls. However, a good example would be these. I got these in about 5 Dreadnought normal Shadow Tower runs. Now, you might be thinking, oh, well, this isn't that good. Yeah, okay, well, it took me about, 30 minutes to get this much, and it was just normal. I'm gonna move up to hard once I've got all 300 of my Hadraken and Dreadnought runs done, which will most likely double the amount this is. But just for good measure, if I open up all of these, most likely I'll get at least 1 mount, and if not, I'll get some definite flux. Also, these things, yeah, those give you stashes, like the style stashes, or rare allies that are worth 10 or 20k flux. Except for every now and then you'll get one of the worthless ones, like the Ghost Penguin, that's like 2k right now. But I mean, like, if you get the sushi mount, I mean, that's worth a decent amount out of the bento boxes, and bento boxes are like the most common. But anyway, though, so there's that. That's some fun facts that you can know. If you want to go mount farming, do Shadow Towers for like an hour or two, and you'll actually get a decent amount of mounts, and most mounts sell for like 20k or 40k that you get out of adventure boxes. Except for the really rare ones that, for some reason, nobody knows how to get, and those ones sell for like 100k, which, that's questionable on its own. Like, really, really questionable. Let's see, there is some other stuff, though. So, out of farming Shadow Towers, a lot of people might not know this, but there are, Shadow Hadraken heads. Or not Hadraken, the, Dreadnought. Now, I actually didn't know this for a while, but, yeah, no, so, the bosses do give you trophies. Which, the trophies are kind of like, eh. It just looks cool for your house if you're trying to decorate, trying to get a bunch of trophies to impress people. That's always fun. Now, I do want to point something out, though. A lot of people, for some reason, like new players, think that doing a hard Shadow Tower is something that's difficult. Well, this might come sounding stupid from 20k and up, because 20k and up, anyone can solo a hard Shadow Tower, even if you're doing a tank build. If you can't solo a hard Shadow Tower, you're stupid. Well, here's the thing with that. So, to solo Shadow Towers, like I said earlier, DPS. See, if you're not running for a full DPS build on a DPS-based character, you're looking at the worst being a tank build for a tank character. And in that sense, you're probably going to be, I don't know, I think the worst I've seen was probably when I first got my Shadow Hunter. It took me being 19k to solo a hard Shadow Tower, and that's honestly horrible. If you're doing full DPS build on a Shadow Hunter with Death Defying, you should be able to do it at about 14k. Like all of it. I mean, maybe not all of it, maybe you'll be 16k, but I know people who can do it at 14k, so I know it's doable. But that's saying perfect. I'm saying on average you'll probably be 16k, 17k, and then if you're doing a tank build like me, oh boy, you'll be a lot further before then. It just sucks. But yeah, and for some reason a lot of people in chat and stuff will tell you need tanks in Shadow Tower runs. No, you don't. You can take out the bosses ridiculously fast as long as nobody's playing as the same class and everyone's playing as a DPS class. That's why sometimes the times that you see, like, okay, here's a fun fact. Most of the players who are really good at Trove and in the actual top 2000s for the leaderboards, because let's actually quit fishing real quick. Let's look at the leaderboards. Okay, so say for example, we want to look at the weekly contest for Trove Mastery. Okay, so we go to the very top. What do we have? We have people up here. Now, do you know what's funny about the people up here? Do you notice how there's like a cap where it's like they're all the same and it's just kind of like lower and lower and lower and lower? Yeah, there's actually a lot more people on this point than there looks. And there's a reason for that, which it's kind of something that some people do know, some people don't. You can find it on the forums, Basically, though, what it is, and I do have a few friends who this applies to, actually. I think I've only got like two or three, but What it is basically, though, is a lot of the higher up players don't play Trove anymore and don't pop up on the leaderboards. I don't know what the time for not playing is for you to not be on the leaderboards for that sort of stuff. I think it's actually just if you don't log in that week anymore, but I'm not positive on that, so I can have someone double check that for me later, but... Yeah, so just remember that a lot of people making speedrun times right now, they're people who are actually either new to Trove or fairly new. They don't know how to actually speedrun. I've literally met somebody, like, I think it was either last week or the week before that. Apparently the top time was done by 5 people doing gunslingers and 1 candy barbarian. Do you know how stupid that sounds? The reason I'm saying that is every person you have takes 25% of your damage away. That's saying those people did that at 25% their base damage. You see how they could have sped that up? If they had all been playing as separate classes, they would be doing, well, let's see, 5 times that per person. So, 5 times 4. So they'd be doing it 20 times faster. And it took them, I think, what, like 4 seconds? No, because Shadow Tower time doesn't go like that. It goes up to 99 before it says that second mark. Still, like, that's saying, though, actually, yeah, that'd be closer to, what is that, like, 10 seconds? 15? Something like that. Anyway, though, that's saying, though, that they could have done it 20 times faster. They didn't maximize their speed. So, that being said, that means even the top players right now, at least most of them who go for that, don't know that. Which, that's a basic Shadow Tower rule. You don't do the same classes. Now, there is another thing, the fact that they were doing gunslingers, which, God, that's stupid. Just in general. The reason for that is Gunslinger's an AoE character, and they were doing a boss that doesn't spawn minions. It would make sense on a boss that spawns minions. And the reason for that is because, you know, you're killing the minions too. However, if you're not, like if there's no minions, it'd be better to play as a Shadow Hunter. Maybe even, actually, a Neon Ninja. Neon Ninja's shurikens do more damage than almost any class's DPS. With the exception of being Ice Age and Fate Trickster, I think. Pretty sure Fate Trickster still does more damage than the Neon Ninja shurikens. But still. You get the gist. They could have done a lot more, and most people just don't know that. So, yeah. Now we have Shadow Towers completely out of the way. Pretty sure. Yeah, that... Probably. Oh, yeah, actually, here's another thing that I think I should mention. For some reason, people think that hard Shadow Towers are near impossible, which is why... No, boy, it's not the highest DPS class in the game. No, don't say that. Play as a maxed out DPS Neon Ninja, use your shurikens, you'll do faster damage and more. But, if you want to test complete DPS, don't do that at all. What you want to do is play as an Ice Age. I'm saying this now from experience. That is the fastest possible clear time you're going to get on a Shadow Tower. Gunslinger is actually like the 4th or 5th highest. It's not first. Like, I'm pretty sure Shadow Hunter is actually faster than it. I'm not positive on that. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, though. So that's that out of the way. Oh, yeah, okay, so now we're going to get to flux farming. So the flux farming thing here is basically, for noobs, you can actually make a decent amount of flux. It was a lot better when Bomber Royale was first in place, because for Bomber Royale, when it was first in place, hold up, let's check the wings real quick. When Bomber Royale was first in place, flux was broken for noobs, and if you want to see why, the answer lies in these things. All the time. What's your speedrun time, dude? I'm gonna also ask what console do you play on. Anyway, though, so the reason this was broken for noobs is, so when this first came out in the market, for some reason these things were selling for like $1.5 million. This is 3 hours of farming in Bomber Royale. At the time, that was the fastest thing you could do. Now it's kind of died down. I think, like, on average, it's like 400,000. Yeah. And, I mean, it's still 3 hours of a farm if people are playing Bomber Royale, which is only during the daytime now. And servers are kind of dead for that, so it's kind of iffy. But it's still a decent farming method. Another one is meteorite fragments, but I don't suggest that. Meteorite fragments, the thing with that is, if we look at it, what you're gonna do... Okay, so, yeah, see, meteorite fragments, the price fluctuates, and here's the thing with the price fluctuation. I've seen it as low as 150 a unit price, which is trash. Every now and then, though, like, normally the average price is 300. That's when it's okay to sell it. It's 30,000 for 50. Or no. It's 15,000 for 50. My bad. 30,000 for 100. But, every now and then, if the game gets new content for stuff, it actually does go up to the 400 margin. Highest I've ever seen it was 600. That wasn't when it first came out, but that was, I think 2 updates ago. 1 update ago. 2 updates? I'm thinking. I think it was before the improvements update, so it was probably 2 updates ago. But, yeah. Anyway, so that's that. Also, with the U10 update coming, whenever that hits... price of meteorite fragments is probably going to increase due to mounts. And when that update hits, you will see why. So yeah, that's going to be a fun one. So that's your flux right there. Let's see, what else is there? Oh yeah, so for dragons. Now, this one, I can tell you from personal experience, dragons are broken in Trove. And the reason for that is... Oh, look at that, I've got 9 dragons and 1 primordial. That's not a lot. Do you want to know what's funny? I spent $30 and got that. Yeah. I think it's called the Super Starter Pack. It's like $3. What you do is you buy it in bulk. I've got a friend who spent like... it was like 100 on it, or 200. And basically, the logic is that depending on how many you open at once, you're actually guaranteed more dragons that way, or dragon coins. Now, the thing with that is from experience, out of the $30 I spent, I got about... Let me do math real quick. Okay, so for every $3, it was 10. I spent 30. So it was 100. And yeah, out of 100, I got... I didn't get that from it. I actually got the coins from it, though. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, the Iron Bolt is where I got the golden egg from. I got a golden egg for Yorn the Dust Shadow. I got a golden egg for this one. And I think the rest, it was just dragon coins. But that being said, though, it still gives you enough to give you, like, you know, the majority of the dragons for a cheap price if somebody's willing to just pay to win. Which, I'll be honest, console players do, like, a lot. I think I've met maybe 5 people who haven't, who are top tier. And I don't mean pay to win as in you paid to get to the point that you're at, but I'm saying you put at least $100 into Trove. If you put at least $100 into Trove, you pay to win. Let's be honest. It may have just been for costumes, but it's pay to win. Now then, what else is there? Oh yeah, there's the marketplace cycling thing you can do, which is a fun little tidbit of info. So, when you're messing around in the market, what do? Because what I do is I go into ships. Let's see here. Okay, so what you do is you go into ships right here. God dang it. I hate the chat board. Okay, so you go into ships. Hide collected. Now, what you're going to want to do is look at this. Now, why are you looking at this, you might ask? Well, the reason is that's 2,500. Now, or 2,500,000. Now, the reason you want to look at that is because if you just go to here, oh, look at that, 3,250 for 20. Or if you went into the marketplace, you could actually buy the same price for... Well, no. There's still the dragon pack. So, anyway, though. No, but anyway, though, so you get this. And what's that? You got 3,000 credits now. So what you do is, then, you could get this. Which you might be thinking, oh, so you can get one of these. Well, yeah, that's true. Or, wait for it, even prettier. Where's that pirate captain pack? Oh boy, you can get 2 ships that are actually worth about the same price. So for $20, you get these 5 million flux. Bet. Or, you know, you could spend more, get all 3. Then you've got 7 mil. So yeah, 7 mil for slightly over $20. Or 5, it's like 500 flux, technically, if you're actually doing the market method where you buy credit pouches. But hey, that's fun theories you got there. And by the way, people actually do buy these ships. I've sold one, but it sold the same day that I put it on the market. So, yeah. Anywho, though, next off, though, we're probably going to have to go with costumes. So, the dealio with costumes is they don't do anything. However, the music costumes are the best things in the game. And the reason they're the best things in the game is you can, I'm pretty sure, only buy them with credits. And, well, I mean, every now and then someone puts one in the market, but that's rare. I haven't seen one in, like, forever. But they are nifty. I do have one of them, actually, for my Chloromancer, but who the hell touches the Chloromancer? Well, no, I shouldn't say that. There are people. Oh, yes. Gotta love them wubs. Them wubs. So thick. Ironically, I actually bought this costume from the market. I don't remember how much it was. It was a decent amount, though. Anyway, though. So we got that. What's left to talk about in Trove? Well, well, we got the easy way to get the dragons if you're willing to pay for it. We got how shadow towers are completely DPS rigged. Easy flux methods. Well, we already got that. I think that's honestly about it, which is really depressing. Like, Trove's literally just a system you can manipulate. So, I mean, could talk about why classes are trash. That's always something. I don't know if I want to hate on the knight, though. People get upset if you hate on the knight. You know, this guy used to be 16k before he took off his gems and his armor and his everything. Look at this poor man. Look at the shell of a human being. This is what happens when somebody mains a knight for a whole day, gets him up to 16k, and then just tosses him away when he realizes that some classes aren't balanced. So, anyway, the reason the knight's trash, because the knight is trash. It's debatable. He's trash for a reason, but it's not so much as a big reason. The main thing is just the fact that his whole aspect is being a tank, and the Candy Barbarian does it better. Candy Barbarian is a sustain tank, and the Knight is kind of just a tanky tank, which would be good in theory if you didn't take into account that if you're purely made to be a tank, you can't do DPS. Enemies do more damage than you do, so what would be the point in being a tanky tank? You're taking longer to kill things. And then there's also his ult is literally just an ult for... I don't know, is it still invincibility? I don't remember. I know he has an ability now that, like, affects other people, and I haven't really played as him since beta. Well, not beta, it was a little bit after beta. But anyway, though, yeah, I know that he still stands up to that verdict, though, of that problem. I've never gone the Vanguardian, and the reason's literally just because everyone on forums, and also from his stat page and charts, the logic behind him is it's good in theory. You switch between melee and ranged. You've got cool passive where you can just run through walls. But it's kind of like he's lackluster. And the reason I say that is because he's cool, he's tall, his abilities look cool, but he's a gimmick. Like, think about it like this. A ranged character can do anything he can do but better. And I mean that literally. Because any ranged character does more damage than... The Tomb Raider... Actually, no. No, wait. No. Oh, God, no. You know what? The Tomb Raider is the exception to every rule. But... basically, every character can do what he can do better. And then when it comes to melee, he can't tank. He can't do damage. Well, it's kind of damage. It's not really. I actually, the thing that I've never compared, because I know this for a fact, if you look at charts, you can see genuinely just like the base damages and how far you can get with that with each character. Okay, a Neon Ninja Shurikens actually put it on top tier damage with Fey Trickster and Ice Age. Fey Trickster and Ice Age do the highest damage in the game possible with one hit. The Shadow Hunter does the highest DPS. Gunslinger does AoE, but it does actually slightly less than even the Shadow Hunter in terms of one hit. Even though the Shadow Hunter shoots faster, which is why the Shadow Hunter's better in terms of fighting bosses. However, I've never took this into account. What does more damage, a Vanguardian or a Lunar Lancer? Because I know the Lunar Lancer's not that heavy of a hitter, but it's the heavy hitter of the melees. Like, and they're both not that good of a class. Like, literally, Lunar Lancer I just think's cool because he, is a fox. But nobody sticks to that. Anyway, though. Then you got Pirate Captain. You want to know what's bad about Pirate Captain? Because it's really simple. He's just a distraction. He's like what you'd have if you wanted a tank, except you don't want them to do their tank at all. You just want them to be a distraction. Which, I mean, it's good. I'll be honest. That is a good thing. It's just, he's not DPS, and having a full DPS team is how you hit leaderboards, unless, you're at the point right now where Trove's at, where literally all the shit players are playing, and in which case, hey, our speedrunners are, really, really lackluster. Switch to PC, you'll see what I mean by lackluster. Like, literally, most of them don't even know how the game works, and they just got to the point they're at from farming, which, I mean, that's what you're supposed to do, but you should at least think the game is numbers, not as actual just playing a game, because it's not. You can go into numbers and you can be broken. Anyway, though, by the way, Ice Age, after the update, it's Bay. It does more damage than Fey Trickster, highest single target damage character in the entire game. However, before update, it was something that people cried to. I'll be honest. I thought it looked cool. I thought it was hip. Just wasn't. Anyway, though, and then you got Candy Barbarian. Now, the reason I don't say Candy Barbarian's a good character, Candy Barbarian is, in aspect, it's like that medium between the bad characters and the good characters. It doesn't do DPS, and it doesn't necessarily tank, but it's self-sustaining and DPS. It's like the best melee character, in my opinion. And the reason for that's just because it's that in-between. And all the melee characters suck, so yeah, my waifu's better than yours. Anyway, now I got the Dracolite, and the only reason that's not on the DPS thing is its ult's the only reason it's good. Like actually, until you're late game, like ridiculously late game, you're gonna agree to that sentence. And then once you are late game, you're just gonna be kind of sad that you have to use the ult. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, also, Tomb Raider's broken if you're trying to get fast boss times. Do you want to know why? Throw down all the minions. If this only applies to you, if you're at least a PR of 25k and full DPS, what you do is you put down all the minions by the boss spawn, and then you just attack it, let it go. Each one of those minions does about the same power as what one of your... Hold up, let me think of what class to compare it to, because it actually does do about the same damage. I think they all do about the same damage as maybe one or two gunslinger shots, but they're constantly doing it. I don't know if that's a good comparison or not, because I don't know the exact numbers. I know it is close to the top DPS dealers, though, except it's constant, and it's like 6 times, so it's a lot more than if you had one of those classes. Thing with Tomb Raider is, though, the minions die instantly almost, so it's completely worthless. I'm hoping they're doing a revamp update actually for it next year when they do get that out, because they have said that's the next character getting the huge update. Ice Age got its update, Rev got its update, and I mean, Rev is still trash. I don't know what all they changed about. I know they added like lifesteal and stuff, but the Ice Age got its update, and it's now the best, highest damage dealing character in the game. So, and I'm not saying it's the best DPS, I'm just saying, like, per shot, highest damage. Its update literally made it was either the base attack got ×3 damage, and the abilities got ×2, or it's reverse. But still, that's a lot better than what it was, and that's why it's at the top. hopefully they're revamping all characters because, like, the reason they're revamping, they've even, like, come out and said a little bit of it. What it is basically is, if you notice, there's characters that are just naturally better than others. For example, Tomb Raider. It's okay, but its rod does such horrible damage that the Dracolite's better. Then you've got things like, for example, DPS characters. How many of those do we have? Well, you got the Shadow Hunter, and you got the Neon Ninja if you count shurikens. You kind of have Gunslinger. The problem with Gunslinger is the fact that it's not as good in terms of DPS. Gunslinger's AoE, which, I mean, I mean, everyone plays as Gunslinger. That's kind of the downside to it. And people try to defend it, except you shouldn't. I mean, you can. I don't really have a problem with you as long as you play in the top DPS classes, but I have met some genuine people who, it's always either they're orange in chat, so they think they're good at the game, and this is a fun little tidbit for noobs. If you think you're good in the game because of your color on chat, you're not. Most of those people don't know what they're doing. I didn't know what I was doing, honestly, until, I want to say, a couple weeks ago. I don't play Trove that much, if you can't tell. I think I've got a couple of hours onto it, and literally, like, a fourth of those are from fishing. So, yeah. And until somebody has, like, 15 hours in Trove, I don't trust their judgment on what to sell in the market. That's my opinion on it. Unless it's something broken, like, for example, when Bomber Royale came out. Selling wings was broken. I made a couple mil off that. But, yeah. Anyway, though, that's overall the Trove Basics, I think. I mean, that's literally all I can come up with. Oh, yeah, actually, there is one other thing. If you're looking for a melee character, use Wrapped Berserker. It doesn't look a thing like this. I think it's in the Treasure Isles section. Hold up. Let's find our little baby here. Okay, so this is no, God, no, not this. Anyway, so this right here is the most important ally you're going to want if you are a melee character. Reason? 20% extra physical damage. Explanation? 20% extra physical damage. DPS, my dudes. Anyway, so yeah, also, you know, health regen and movement speed when enemy dies, which, by the way, those two status effects actually are on other mounts, but they're separate. I don't know if this is the only mount that has them both on one. However, I know that that's not common because there are allies that have them, like, separate. But yeah, that's some fun facts right here. Also, for vials, late game, you're going to want Death Defying. I'm using this because on console, I am the Scrub Lord. Not really Scrub Lord, but, I mean, I'm meh. I mean, like, legit, I'm going to point this out in the most simplest way possible. I was stupid when I started playing. I thought tanks could do stuff, and then I had the realization that DPS mattered. So, if you look at my gems, like, here's the thing. Okay, this is physical damage, crit damage, physical damage, all that. Okay, now we've got maximum health. This is DPS. Now, if you want to know what's funny about that, on my Shadow Hunter before this, all of these gems, these used to be on a knight. Do you know what they were? All max health. Yeah, I had my Shadow Hunter, I think it was actually 19k before I could handle hard. And after I got about 2 or 3 of my gems swapped to doing physical damage, I could manage ult. So, yeah. Also, I can actually solo. I can't solo Dreadnought just yet. I actually have gotten it to half health, though, and I'm at 20k PR. So, that is a statement of DPS matters. But, I don't know. Overall, though, that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't know what to do for a mage character, like, in terms of allies and stuff, and that's just because I don't play as mage characters. I know what they're good for. I know what they're good at. I don't know what's good for them, though. And yeah, that's just because I don't play them yet. The next class I'm actually going to be working on is a Tomb Raiser, and when I'm working on that, oh boy, that's going to be a fun one. See, because I'm doing a meme here, and I'm not going against this meme. So what it is basically is you take off everything you got. You hide this. You equip the worst costume. Doesn't matter what your level is. Now what you do is get it. Two nurse fairies. I'm in a wheelchair. It's a cripple joke. Yeah, I should kill myself. Anyway, so, yeah, that's going to be my next goal at some point in my life. And, yeah. Oh, yeah, also, here's the last tidbit for noobs. If you're just trying to get fast XP to break your leveling system. So, when Bomb Royale was first implemented, no joke, I think it was, let me see what class it was. It wasn't my knight, but it's the class that's closest to being at 30 aside from my knight. I think it's like level 21 or something. Yeah, is it my guns? It actually might be. Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, though. So, basically, story with that is when Bomb Royale first got added, the XP output was broken. And it was broken to the sense that I gave my character XP potion, and I think it was like 1 or 2 matches put me at that level. They've nerfed it. Now it is, I think it's like 2 or 3 Bomb Royale matches, gets a character level 16, and then after that you just level ridiculously slowly. That being said, though, if you're low level, or you have low level classes, get all of your classes to level 16 in Bomb Royale. Yeah, it's an instant, couple of levels, every level's a bit of your mastery rank. It is very helpful to know that. So, yeah. A little tidbit there. And I don't know if there's, like, really anything else. I mean, we could go over, like, more outfits. We could go over... Oh, yeah, we can go over the Gem Forge. Who wants to learn? That's always fun. So, the Gem Forge Fact 101. Perfect gems don't exist. That's a lie. Anyway, though, here's some fun gem facts. Why don't we just put these out here? Okay, so what do you want in your big stellars? Well, you want your big stellar, which is your empowered gem, to be a 3-star in the top right as a level 1. Why do you want that? Well, here's the dealio. You want stellars for all of your gems first. That's what matters. Next off, that star actually reflects these. Yeah. Also, fun fact, a lot of higher-up players don't know this. I've met somebody who genuinely thought that, no, these have no reflection on your power rank or anything. The Gem Forge, all it does is upgrade your stats. Oh, boy. Oh, no. So, what you do is, you get... having a 3-star for an empowered gem. What that does is, by the way, it's 3-star for empowered, 2-star for the smaller ones. In case I mess that up, there it is now. I might say it wrong later. That is what it is. Anyway, the reason why you want that is it starts all of these off at 50 or higher. That's what it means to be a 3-star. 2-star, same thing applies, although I don't think it's 50. I think it's like 40 or something, or 45. But it means that all stats start off at a higher point. There's no such thing as a perfect gem dropping, actually. Well, no. If your luck is ridiculously on point, there is a chance of that happening. I have heard that it's possible for a gem to drop with all stats being at 100%. I've also heard of a gem dropping with just one stat at 100%. If either of those two things happen, that's ridiculous. But basically, what you want to do from the get-go is just make sure when you get a gem, for empowered, it starts off with 3 stars. For regular, it starts off with 2. Or at the bare minimum, make sure it's stellar. Make sure it's stellar. You can reroll the stats till you get what you want, and then just upgrade them by percentage until it's maxed out. Now you have a perfect gem. Problem with that is that's going to take a few weeks. Like, per gem, even if you're doing Ultra Towers, per gem... I want to say if you're doing that, like maxed out and everything, I'd say honestly 3 weeks per gem, and you have 9. So, yeah, take that how you will. That's a ridiculous grind. That's actually what I'm doing right now with my Shadow Hunter. And it does make a difference. Like, okay, this is my water gem. It's not maxed out yet, obviously. There's 2 stats still at 50, and there's 1 stat at 95. However, compared to this where all stats are 50, that's almost a 400 power rank difference. It's probably going to look more like a 500 or 600 power rank difference. That means each one of your empowered gems can give you somewhere over 2,000, and I want to say it's like 2,100 or 2,200 or 2,300, somewhere in that range each. And that's what that means. So, yeah. So, just remember, DPS and Gem Forge. And that's what late game adds up to. Now then also, I think it was on my night, I made it up to 16k power rank without ever getting a stellar or knowing that stellars existed. And yeah, so just remember those are a thing. Yeah, I was using Shadow level 5 gear, for anyone wondering. So yeah, what you're gonna want though, I don't have it on my hat. I mean, I kind of do. See, what I'd prefer is I'd prefer physical damage and crit damage on this, but haven't found any yet, and I haven't found any in trade chat because Flux is easy to get. Anyway, though, yeah, this one kind of has it. I'd kind of prefer crit chance, honestly, over max health, but I'll take it just because I have it. Then you pearl it out fully once you got this. However, with gear, there is a difference here. Gear, best gear you can get, that required level actually does imply something. It implies that the base stats are slightly lower than what it could be. Not by a lot, mind you, but a decent amount. So, for example, if you get a stellar, you want it to say requires level 10, and then you can re-roll it from there. However, you're going to obviously want it to have some base stats. Like, for the first two, I think you're going to want crit damage and physical damage. Like, this bow, for example, is the perfect example of what you want. So, like, physical damage, crit damage. And then, for your third stat and second stat, you can keep re-rolling those, and you want one of those to be crit hit. That is the best example of what you want. However, a hat is an exception to this. What you're going to want is physical damage, crit damage, magic find. The reason for magic find is better drops. As far as this goes, this is the same as the weapon, so don't worry about it. I don't think you can get magic find on a face. If you can, well, I'm wrong. So, there you go. I'm only explaining things that I do know, so that one's completely my assumption on magic find. This one, you're going to probably want... See, I don't know what all you can get on rings, because I don't pay attention to it, but let's just say you want a stellar level 5 physical damage and magic find. I don't know if there's a crit damage. If there is a crit damage, then fuck physical damage. You're going to want a crit damage and magic find, but I don't think that's a thing. I'm not positive. If magic, or if, like, crit damage is a second stat or a first stat, I don't check rings, so my bad there. But yeah, so I'm pretty sure that goes over everything early game and late game. Oh, yeah, actually, no. So there is one more thing. This goes as far as leveling and new players playing the game. So most players don't do fact checking, and that doesn't surprise anyone who's played any MMORPG. Best example of this, ESO. Some people don't know the difference between magic builds and physical builds, or the fact that sometimes one's better than the others and that sorcerers aren't the best thing in the game. Anyway, though, so yeah, that aside, oh, where was I going? Oh yeah, XP. So some people think Trove is a really long grind and other people don't. Here's some perspective on that from somebody who's done the grind on 2 different consoles, and honestly, I moved to Xbox on it, and the reason I moved to Xbox was I've played it on Xbox constantly, but not constantly. It's like I get onto it, I'll play it for a day or two, and then I'll stop playing. My exception for it is actually recently. I've played it for like a week or 2 straight, and I mean, I've done this on Warframe and other games too sometimes, like Destiny. Anyway, though, so here's the thing for XP. What's gonna happen is it might seem like a grind. It'll take about 8 to, I think honestly the longest I've ever heard it taking is like maybe 20 hours if you're like really not in the farming mood and you're just kind of messing around in Trove. But if you're doing dungeons in your leveled areas, it'll probably take you about 8 hours, maybe 12, maybe 16, somewhere around there, to get a character to level 30. Now, it might seem like a lot, however, you need to remember level 30 is not end game. That's, oh yay, you can equip all of your gems now so you can get stronger. Before even being level 30, I'm pretty sure you can easily have a... Well, let's think about this for a second. So, without being level 30, you could have a power rank of about 1,000 from all your stellar gear plus your ring. So, 4,000, you could have about... 200 off this, so that, you could have 4,200 off that. I'd assume from your gems, if you had actually taken the time to farm them and upgrade them, at least up until this point, I mean, even if you didn't upgrade them like by the percentages at the gem forge, that's still like, I'd say about 1,500 off each, or 1,400 off each of the small gems, 1,500 or 600 off the big gems. So, I mean, you could probably, even without being level 30, you could probably be about 15k. Well, no, actually, you could probably be 20k, even without being level 30. That might sound shocking, but I mean, it's doable. Primordial Dragons also, I forgot about those. Those things add a decent amount. But yeah, I mean, like, basically, being level 30 isn't in-game. It just helps you get to end-game. Your in-game goal is to be one of the better characters. And yes, by the way, if you main a character, no one's gonna judge you unless you, for some reason, play as a really, really bad character. Like, an example of this is Chloromancer, okay? Chloromancer is something. It's something. It's not great. I use it as a joke character. A lot of people do. I think I've actually got somebody that I met once who literally said they bought every outfit for Chloromancer. And I saw most of the outfits. I didn't see all of them. And it was literally just because it was like, you know, I figured nobody else would play it in Shadow Tower, so I'm not getting my damage down. But, I mean, as long as you're not playing as a bad character, you're good for late game. However, you need to remember there are characters with serious advantages. For example, a perfect DPS Shadow Hunter, as long as you've got Death-Defying Vials, you can handle a hard Shadow Tower like 14, 13k power rank. Pure DPS, of course. Fully, like, everything you have is set to damage. Nothing is a health stat. If you have that, yeah, about 14k. However, though, if you did that with a Rev, which, why would you play as Rev? That's a bad move on its own. And I don't hate Rev. Rev was broken OP. It is early game. Late game, it's just kind of bad because you shouldn't try to tank end game. You can, just shouldn't. However, though, like, for example, a Rev trying to solo, a tank shouldn't solo because that's just dumb. But also, even if you were to solo, so 14k for Shadow Hunter, probably like 18k for Rev, even if you did the DPS build. Yeah. I mean, it's doable. And also, Ultra Shadow Towers, they aren't that far above Hard Towers. You need to remember that too. They're kind of close-knit. At me right now, I'm half of a tank, half DPS. I'd say, honestly, when I was full tank Shadow Hunter at about 18 and 19k, the hard Shadow Tower was difficult, and it was barely doable for the last floors. I got halfway into a DPS build. I can solo ult 1 and 2, and it only takes, like, a few, I think, like, what, like, 5 minutes a run? 6 minutes an entire, like, for the entire Shadow Tower run of just, like, up to one Titan boss and killing it. And it only takes, like, maybe, what, minute to kill the boss? Maybe. And, I mean, I can get a Darknet Dreadnought to about half health in about 5 minutes, but my thing is, like, I'll die then. And the reason's just because I don't have that many vials, and I don't do enough damage yet, which I'll hopefully have fixed within a week or two. But yeah, I mean, I think that's the best explanation, though. Like, literally, there's clearly classes that top others, and DPS is king in Trove. So, I mean, you're safe, though, as long as you pick Gunslinger, Neon Ninja, Shadow Hunter, Ice Age, or Fate Trickster. Any other class, I don't suggest. I know they're doable, just I don't suggest. So, yeah. Oh yeah, also Boomeranger ticks people off in Shadow Towers. The reason isn't because the bombs, some people will say the bombs can knock back bosses. That is the reason, but it's not to the Titan bosses. It's just the fact that you're trying to kill a boss, and most Boomerangers, when they go into an ult Shadow Tower run with people, they can't insta-kill the, like, mini-bosses. So what it is they knock them all around the room while everyone else is trying to, and it just makes people mad. But yeah, though, so this is a guide on Trove's Basics. That's what, we've been doing this for about an hour. We've had that much stuff to talk about. Thought we'd be done in like 20 minutes, but, I mean, it's a decent game. It's just the fact, though, that you can boil this down to a system of just number crunching. B, Flux isn't hard to get. You have to know what to do to get it. For example, like, seriously, Bomber Royale, a noob at level 1 can be farming about 500 million Flux every 3 hours. Not 500 million, 500,000. God, I'm tired. Anyway, though, no, though, like, it's simple like that. And then it's like, a lot of high levels think that, oh, well, you can just farm stellars, like 10, 20 stellars an hour, that's great. I mean, honestly, that noob doing that in Bomber Royale is making almost the exact same amount as somebody farming stellars. Of course, though, people don't play Bomber Royale on console. I don't know how PC is for that. I haven't tried Bomber Royale on PC, now that I think about it. Huh. I might do that later. Anyway, though. But yeah, and then same thing with, like, if you're trying to get the dragons, you can just buy that starter pack, waste $100. Hey, you'll either have all of the dragons or you'll have half of them and enough dragon coins to get all of them, which, I mean, I think, like, honestly, if you get duplicates, just, like, sell them in the market, that's a couple mil. So, yeah. Trove is a broken system that could be worse, could be better. And yeah. Oh, yeah, also, if anyone's wondering what's going to be really broken in the U10 update, here's what it is, and this is just going to be an end note for anyone waiting for that or wanting some good news or whatever. Ooh. Well, here's what it is. Okay, so we're getting a new gear type. That gear type, nobody knows how much power rank it's going to add. I'm going to say it might add 500 or 1,000 to each thing. However, knowing how the game works, it might just be a ridiculous amount more. Reason I say that is Shadow 5 gear, like Shadow level 5, that added, I think, like 200 power rank or 500 or something like that. It was something small. Stellars add 1,000, so it's 2 times that. Well, if it's 2 times the 1,000 that we have, that means that the Astral, or whatever it's going to be called, a lot of people in forums are saying Astral, a lot of YouTubers are saying Astral, a lot of people in game chat are saying Astral. I honestly want to see it be named something Geode related, because the update's Geode related, but Astral sounds cool. Anyway, though, so here's the deal with that. If that comes to be the same system that they've already been doing, then gear might be adding 3,000 each. Which, so 3 times what it's doing now. If that happens, then that's saying that each of these is adding 1,000 now, right? So 3,000 times that by 3, gear would be adding 9,000 power rank. Okay, so, you know, minus 3,000, that's 6,000. Add 6,000 to my power rank, I would now be in the top players in Trove. The reason I'm saying that's broken is because if that's the case, stats do scale to that. Not your stats specifically, but stats on the gear. That would genuinely mean that noobs, even noobs, if they could craft the gear, could get an extra, like, they could basically just get 6,000 extra power rank from a stellar. Meaning that a noob who starts playing, if they just formed the new gear, they would instantly be 9,000 power rank. I mean, obviously that wouldn't be from the start. Most likely it'd be more like they could jump the gap from like 5k to like 12k instantly or whatever. But then you've got to think about this. They're adding a new primordial dragon. So that's like, oh, if you got all your gems maxed out, that's like 500. Actually, that's like 700 or 800 power rank off of it if you have all your gems of that one type maxed out. Now, here's the funny thing about that. So, it's, you know, obviously, it's like 800 power rank per dragon. Well, okay, so what would it be like? A noob could get an extra like 6,900. Well, let's just round it to 7,000. And now let's put in the fact that there's going to be 3 new gem slots. 3 new gem slots. And also, if you rack these up, actually, this one will be slightly over 2,000. It'll be like 2,100. Let's not think about that. Let's just think about this as 2,000. And these two will probably, if I'm right, be about 1,800 or something like that. But that's 3,600 off of these two. Plus a 2,000. 5,600. Plus that 9,000. New max power rank will be very high. It'll be probably 30-something K. Actually, it has to be 30-something K. The question is how much higher than 30K. If you do the math that I just did, you're probably going to wind up with about 32K or 33K or 34K. You need to think for a second, though, that some people are already 26K. If like, the new update adds just 8,000 power rank to their 26K, well, that puts them at 34K. However, it might be more. It could very well be more. Actually, with the Primordial Dragon, it probably might be 35K. And then you've got to think, the update's adding new mounts. Wait, if they're adding new mounts, more mastery rank, more power rank. Oh. So yeah, if you got the idea in your head, it's basically just late game with the U10 update coming out when it does, is going to make it so that a lot of things are more attainable for noobs. Like, actually, low levels might be able to solo Ultra Shadow Towers like it's nothing. I'm not saying necessarily low levels, but, you know, like, basically right now, I'd say the average player stops playing at 10,000 power rank. Those people would instantly be able to do hard, at the very least, without a pure DPS build. And that means even if they're not putting time into it, noobs could handle hard. Now, the thing with that is a lot of people who play Trove constantly, they aren't noobs, but they're not pros. In my opinion, a pro is about 24K if they're doing a pure DPS build. If they don't know what a pure DPS build is and they're just going about it and actually surviving, well, that's something completely different. But I genuinely wager that Ultra Shadow Towers will be easy for nearly everyone. And either they're going to make the Shadow Towers harder, or they're going to add a new layer to the Shadow Towers, like, you know, like 1-up from ult. Or they're going to do what they did in the Eclipse update and add a boss that's just ridiculously hard compared to everything else, which was the Dreadnought. But whatever they do, that update's going to make this a lot more fun. It'll also make it a lot more balanced for everyone. Well, I don't want to say balanced. The OP players will be a lot more OP. A lot of players are coming back into Trove when that update drops too, though, so, you know. A lot of the players who think they're OP right now are going to feel like garbage because a lot of the people who have their classes at 26K don't play Trove anymore. That's why there's only like 1 or 2 on the leaderboards. When those come back, everyone at like 24K is going to feel like a loser. And it's kind of funny because, you know, they genuinely put time into it. But yeah, so that's how that's gonna go. Hope y'all had fun watching. And yeah, we'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.